Hi everyone, Monique here, Intuitive Soul Savant. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to new subscribers. Today's video is relative for the next 20 years. Today's video is relative if you've got the moon in Aquarius, or the moon in Leo, or the moon in Taurus, or the moon in Scorpio in your natal chart. If you do have the moon in either of those four fixed signs, then you have a challenging Pluto transit coming along to your natal moon. So that's what the video is about today. If it is an opposition or a square, this information is relative. If it's a conjunction to your natal moon in Aquarius, then this video is all about that. With the square and the conjunction, there's a few differences, but we can discuss that. I'm going to call this one. So this is the first video of a series. The next video will be Pluto challenging aspect to your natal Mercury, and that'll follow along. Yes, and we'll get through all the personal planets. One of our subscribers has the moon in Aquarius, and at the moment she is within the 3-degree orb of Pluto. So she was a little concerned. So I really felt inspired to make this video, because I know many of you out there will have the moon in Aquarius, and even some of those with the moon in Capricorn, Aries, Libra and Cancer, they are still within the 3-degree orb. So those late degrees of the cardinal signs, they are still feeling this transit from Pluto. Okay, so we have this transit of Pluto through Aquarius for the next 20 odd years, and we're going to dig deep over the next 20 years. So this was the first video, and as we go along and as we experience Pluto making aspects to our natal moons, then we'll have more understanding. Now, I had my natal moon conjuncted when Pluto was transiting Sagittarius, and it was not a complete breakdown, but it was an opening to the awareness that I actually did have a subconscious, to the awareness that I was the product of the patterns, the programming and the conditioning of my childhood and my family. So when Pluto conjuncted my natal moon, I was in my 30s, and it wasn't until Pluto was progressing towards my natal sun did I really need to do the deep work. Okay, so if you have your moon in Aquarius, you may not necessarily have the sun in Aquarius, or Mercury in Aquarius, or Venus in Aquarius, or Mars in Aquarius. You may be one of the other signs and just have your natal moon in Aquarius. So the other personal planets in your chart may not be directly affected, but the moon is. Okay, so let's continue along. It's very deep, okay, because the moon rules our emotional body, our feminine receptive selves. The shadows, the moon casts a shadow. So the moon is subconscious, our subconscious, the unseen. When the sun comes out in the day, we don't see the moon. The moon comes out of the night and casts shadows. Now, I've got a couple of lines that I've come up with as far as Pluto challenging aspects to the moon, and just 2 lines. I've come up with the deep-seated emotions laying dormant in the subconscious are troubled or disturbed. The emotional body is activated, bringing awareness, releasing, healing, and extreme, profound change. Yes, it is a heavy transit because it's all got to do with the subconscious and what up until now we were totally unaware of. was a part of ourselves. Maybe we're even unaware that our reactions and our choices in life all come from the perspective and beliefs that are hidden in our subconscious. Therefore, we're puppets to what is hidden in the subconscious. And this is what Pluto comes through to dredge the subconscious. Okay, so let's look at Pluto. We've been looking at Pluto all through this channel. Pluto, in respect to the moon, you know, it's intense emotions, intense situations that unleash intense emotions. Pluto is the transformation, the death, the transformation and the rebirth. Pluto rules the star sign Scorpio, which is a water sign. We look at the moon and we think the flow, the ebb and flow, water. The moon has a strong effect on our tides, the water. The moon has a strong effect on the water that we carry in our body. And for women and their cycles, the moon is a cycle every month. The moon orbits every month. The flow, it flows. Obsession is another word we could use for Pluto regarding the moon. Obsessive feelings that just will not stop. See, we also have the mind. We have the mind connected with our emotions. We think thoughts which trigger our emotions. Now, a lot of those thoughts are in the subconscious. We're not aware when we're sitting here what we're actually thinking. I'm talking to you. Yogi adepts can sit in the seat of the spirit, speak to you, and be aware of the thoughts as well. And you and I are capable of that work as well. So the thoughts create the feelings. And until, you know, we can manage the mind and observe the mind and realize that the mind isn't the truth, then we can calm the waters, calm the emotions. Whichever way it works for you, it'll be different for everybody. Your story will be different, but the energies will be the same. So let's remember also, the moon in Capricorn people are very different to the moon in Aquarius. The moon in Capricorn, you know, within Saturn, it is ice. It is iced water. Capricorns are quite emotional beings when that ice is cracked. However, with Aquarius, we know Aquarians emotionally to be detached. That's not all Aquarians. If there's a strong Pisces influence, a strong Cancer influence, even a strong Sagittarian that expands the emotional body. I have the moon in Sagittarius. Even though I'm a Capricorn, my emotions are huge, expanded, over the top, exaggerated. And as a Capricorn, I can speak about the emotional body. In my Vedic chart, I have the moon in Scorpio. I have a Cancer rising. So, you know, in my higher aspected work, I look at that chart. But here we're talking about the tropical zodiac. So as a Capricorn, I can speak about emotional energy. With Pluto, with emotions that we don't want to deal with, we cover them, push them down with addictions. I truly believe that addictions come from a resistance to feeling emotional feelings, emotions, crying, feeling that heavy emotional feeling when we're processing emotions. So Pluto is there to unearth, to dredge. And these are subconscious. You won't have to do anything at first. This will just happen for you. It's the energy. It is the energy of Pluto coming to hold your hand and work with you to evolve. So when we talk about Pluto and the moon together, the emotions, strong, raw emotions, emotions that may be so intense, you have never experienced emotional energy like this before. You may think you're losing it, but you're not. Because here we're speaking about it. People have experienced it. And our moon in Aquarius people, please comment, teach us how it has affected you. What is being transformed for moon in Aquarius? Past lives hidden. The memories and emotions of past lives come with a challenging Pluto transit. If you have really intense raw emotions coming to the surface to be released for a couple of years while this 3 orb of Pluto is activated, you will think, surely this isn't unexpressed emotion from this life, and it's not. Pluto is the furthest out of our consciousness at this stage, and Pluto is dredging, digging deep, unearthing. And if you've come here now onto the planet as a human being with moon in Aquarius or the other fixed signs to have an opposition or a square, then you're ready to do this work. You're ready to unearth these very painful emotions. It's just going to take a little time. Pluto moves very slowly, and you will be glad Pluto moves slowly, because as these emotions come up, it is intense. It can't all come up at once. The human being, their consciousness at this stage could not handle it. Moon is also affiliated as the mother, the feminine. It's our roots, our home, our mother, the nurturer. She's receptive, feminine, intuitive. The moon is the intuitive part of our nature, the receptive part of our nature. If we're acting in the sun all the time, in action, in the male aspect, and we stuff our feminine, emotional body, our receptive side of ourselves down, we're imbalanced. And the sacred human is the divine feminine, divine masculine, working together as one. So this is the moon is the feminine aspect, the receptive, the intuitive side to ourselves. And a lot of the times it's blocked by beliefs, reactions, our ego, our own agenda, our will. And so this is a wonderful opportunity to come to balance with your feminine aspect. The cycles, I said that, the moon cycles, the cycles of life, the cycles of family, birth, death, rebirth. I spoke about our reactions, our emotional triggers. Women. The moon is affiliated with women. So there's some of the key words. Pluto will unleash those inherited emotional patterns. Any paranoias we have, fears that we have, buried in the subconscious. Now, this may play out in many different ways. It could play out in the loss of what you held as your inner security. This is what Pluto wants. Pluto is requiring Moon in Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio to step up, to level up in their inner security. Could be a health issue, marriage, having to move, loss of the female people in your life. It doesn't necessarily mean people will die. However, if your inner security is codependent strongly on another feminine figure, there may be a breakup. It can happen in any way for you. And I would need to look at your chart to be able to look at it and say, I see this is how it's going to play out. So that's just the story. The story is the story. It is the trigger to start the work of the dredging, the releasing, and therefore the tranquility that comes at the end of that journey. There's things we can do. There's definitely things we can do to help ourselves, to become aware, to work with this energy, because resisting this energy through addictions, relationships, general chaos, it won't work until we surrender to the work that Pluto is energetically helping our soul to do, because Pluto rules the soul, soul work, soul deep. This is soul deep with the moon. We need counseling, maybe. Maybe we need group work. We definitely need others that understand what we're going through, and I don't know whether there's that many of them in your immediate circle. There's this channel. I'm not going anywhere. I found there wasn't much out there, real raw, that could really understand the death that I was undergoing while living in this body. And then the resurrection after that, which I don't know has happened yet or not, but I'm not going anywhere. We need like-minded others that can understand. And, you know, unlike myself, who had nobody, I had nobody around me to consider. You know, I know you have families, you have obligations, you have responsibilities. But you may need to have some compassion for yourself and put yourself first while all this is going on. Make space for grieving, for caring for oneself, for nurturing self, because that's what you'll need to do, is self-nurture. Because within the subconscious is the inner child. And maybe the inherited family patterns are quite dysfunctional and have affected your life till now. It's in this period that you will have more awareness and insight into releasing those patterns and becoming more of your true self. You'll need to explain this to loved ones. Mummy's going through a little hard time at the moment. She's okay. She's fine. This is life. This is being human. Everything's always changing. And it's very healthy to allow our family and children to see us cry. I know it was taboo for so many generations. However, the body keeps the score. Fabulous book. Now is the time to release. Otherwise, if we resist, there could be health issues come from this energy that needs to be released. It can be released through yoga, Pilates, gently, Tai Chi. If you're athletic, through weights. The energy is being required to be released from the body. And first it comes the awareness and the consciousness of it. Flashbacks, memory flashbacks. It will come to you. If you're a spiritual seeker, by any means, there's so much on the internet, free. There's groups, free, at the bottom of my description page, a free group that will work these issues through with you and give you more insight, because you're pushing in and assisting the Pluto transit. With the opposition, it very much can come through others. With the square, to leveling up, the conjunction, to death with the old emotional body. You may not let go. I didn't let go. I didn't allow myself to open up. That Pluto was the first personal, the moon was the first personal planet that Pluto was conjuncting. And a few years ago, it was Mercury, and just recently, Natal Sun. Next few years, Venus. Few years with Venus, Mars, and that will be all my personal planets conjuncted by Pluto. But the moon, I was in my 30s, I was running a company, I was a single mum, I was volunteering. I didn't have time or space to do this work. However, I did have a counsellor that had said to me, you come from a dysfunctional family. And I didn't believe him. However, then the few years after that, I had a breakdown, my first sort of breakdown. I didn't understand, because I was moving in Christian circles then, and I had put my astrology down for a few years. However, it's my astrology that's helped me out with the Mercury and the Sun being conjuncted. So I hope this helps you out. Knowing is better than not knowing. I've spoken to people who have had Pluto transits who aren't into astrology, and they tell me they had a complete breakdown. Whereas we know a little deeper than that. We can actually work with this energy and really evolve and transform and become new while still living in the body. Ascension while still in the body. So thank you. Thank you so much. It's a very delicate topic with the moon. And the tears, it'll be interesting, moon Aquarius. We're all human. We all have an emotional body. I will be so interested to see for the Aquarians, especially with Sun and Moon in Aquarius. Complete transformation. But please, pop your comments in, because it helps everybody. Please help me too by liking and subscribing, so I can help more people, because this is my passion and I'm here to speak my experience. So please help me and help others. So thank you. I'll be back. Remember, it's inner security with the moon. Emotional security, inner security, not fake, not ego. I'm okay, but I'm okay. I am okay. All right, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All the best, and I'll see you soon.